Ali here at mindwavemeditation.com, and today we're going to talk about fear and the doom and gloom of life. Yeah! There's always fear and doom and gloom. Always. And there always has been. Forever. And there probably will always be doom and gloom and fear and all the rest of it. And in this video, we're going to talk about it. But why am I smiling? Why? Why am I smiling when we're talking about fear and doom and gloom? Well, this is a teaser, so you've got to watch it, you see. But there's another side of the coin, and it's not to be dismissed. So watch this video, and we're gonna bring the two together and live happily ever after. All right, we're in. You showed up on time. Good for you. Well done. Fear and the doom and gloom of life. Let's unpack this whole thing. I remember being in my 20s and uncovering all this corruption and all this stuff out there, and all the realities of life, what's actually happening, what's actually really going on behind closed doors, through documentaries and films and all this stuff. And it completely changed my life. It pulled the rug from under, it pierced the veil I saw behind the curtain. I was just kind of going through life like this, just like this for ages. Just didn't really question anything, didn't really think about stuff much. I was just happy-go-lucky, just like had my own problems, you know, just going along. And when I started looking into stuff, everything changed. Everything changed. And, you know, could never go back after seeing what I saw, could never go back. And I went down this big spiral of doom and gloom, big time. Looked at so many terrible things that were going on, and you know, because it was truth and it was real, and it's all the stuff that are coming out now, and people are just kind of waking up that, you know, you might once be called a tinfoil hat wearing whatever, you know. It's just like, it's just what is. Your phones are listening to you. It's, you know, this stuff eventually just all comes to the surface. But if you uncover this stuff before it's mainstream or the world knows about it, you might be called this, that, and the other. So stay strong. If you are uncovering things that don't necessarily match up with what everybody thinks, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong. It just might mean it's a complete hogwash, or the world is yet to catch up. So stay strong to all you truthers out there. So when I uncovered all this stuff and I went down the rabbit hole of doom and gloom, it was, you know, it was a world of craziness and a world of noise in my head, and it was just so overwhelming. There was so much to unpack. Not everybody was into this stuff, into learning about truth and the correct history and all the rest of it, and all of these things that have been suppressed, and these things like geometric patterns and all these, just there's so much, there's so much. I went all the way down, got really sad and depressed and freaked out and paranoid and all the rest. And through that experience, I came back the other way. And I would have never have got here, you know, where I can feel absolute happiness each and every day to a certain extent. You know, feel like I'm vibing in that sort of 75% to 100% every day, just because of the self-work and the meditation and the positive thinking and the yoga and the clean living and the blah, blah, blah. Never would have got into all that stuff if it hadn't have been for opening the big can of worms. So essentially what I'm saying is, life is, and always has been, light and dark. As above, so below. Yin, yang, black, white, everything in between. It is what it is. And a lot of the people that get into the doom and gloom get wrapped up in the doom and gloom. And a lot of people that are happy-go-lucky and the light and all the rest of it, and everything's a joy, get wrapped up in all of that. And both, to me, are extremes. And both, to me, miss the point of life, the holistic point of view of life. Because everything is all, it's all one thing. It's not one or the other. We don't go through life going, no, everything's fine, because it's not always fine. And we don't go through life going, oh man, it's all screwed. The world's gonna, oh, it's all, because it's not. And both of these people are correct. So let's get one thing straight. The full-on hippie flying to the sun, you're totally right. The doom and gloomers, the truthers and all the rest, exposing all the corruption, you're totally right. So what I want to present here is a middle path, a middle view, a middle way of life where you look on this side and you fly high to the sun and you cleanse and you explore meditation and positive thinking and positive news and all this stuff. And also you explore the other side, the hell states of what is under all this that we normally just go, no, I don't want to look at that stuff. Because when you have a viewpoint of the whole and you see everything as what it is, then you can come back to the middle and find peace in the middle, knowing that you know this side and this side. So many people I know that are into the doom and gloom stuff are not happy people. They might say they are, but they're not. They're living in fear, worry, and doubt. And it's really tough because, you know, they're giving their lives to uncovering these things and looking into these things for the greater good. But what we've got to remember is one simple thing my dad told me at this time in my life when I was well into all this stuff was, he said, don't let the buggers drag you down. And I remember when he said that, I thought, oh, you have no idea. To casually just say, oh, that might all be going on, but don't let the buggers drag you down. Well, at that time I thought that was nonsense because, you know, I just didn't get it. And now I've kind of come full circle on this and realized that's absolutely so true. Do what you need to do, live your truth, expose what you need to expose, share what you need to share, talk to who you need to talk to. You know, I'm doing this, I do my little channel and I help people uplift and try and find a bit more positivity and relief in their life. That's my little bit in this massive cog. Some people go full on warrior mode and you know, go to the marches and do the stuff and live and breathe it. Right on, everybody do what they need to do. We all have a part to play in this uplift of humanity. And when you know what your thing is, then even more power to you. So, one thing I love about the Buddhist belief is there's 10 worlds, and we live and experience these 10 worlds every day. And there's a hell, there's hunger, animality, there's all these different things, and there's heaven. And the Christians might think of heaven and hell as somewhere where we go after we die and experience the fiery pit and the harps and the grandmas and stuff like that. The harps and the grandmas playing the harps. And the Buddhists believe that that's here right now in this reality. And I love this because it shows that you can be in a hell state, but you also have the ability to pull yourself out of that hell state into a state of heaven on earth, which could be just being in a state of bliss and joy. Obviously, this is all relative and, you know, can't speak to everybody, but the Dalai Lama was asked this at one point, how he could see all this poverty and horrible things going on. In the day he was helping out, doing all this stuff, and by the end of the night he was dancing around having a party, and someone was like, how can you be dancing when you've seen all this stuff and what's going on, like what's the deal? And he said something like, that was then, this is now. And you know, if we hold on to any of these things, then we are really not living life, and we are carrying all of the horrors and all of the corruptions and all the terrible things that happen in life with us into our present moment when it's not necessarily around us. So it's such a difficult thing to unpack. But one thing that we have to remain is positive and optimistic, because if we are negative and pessimistic, it affects our health. At a cellular level, we know this to be true. If we're pessimistic and depressed and anxious and fearful, we are destroying ourselves, we're destroying our health. So it's really in our best interest to learn to meditate, to look at positive material, to look at positive news, to look at all of these amazing other sides of the coin, because there is another side of the coin. It's not all doom and gloom. That's just one side of the coin. When we flip that coin over, there is so much on the other side, and we'll get back to that in a minute. The TV, we've all grown up with a TV, television. Tell a vision. Programs, they're programming us. We turn it on. We're the ones, we turn it on and we sit there and we watch all of these programs and we digest all of this information. Good, bad, thought-provoking, anxious-provoking, everything. It's all in that box and we love it. We have it on our phones now. Some people have it on their watches. I don't know. Probably have it in their glasses. And but we know the media is run by a small handful of people. We know this to be true now. This is all factual stuff that we can trace back. Oh, this is, it's all conglomerates. It's, and agendas are sold to us with products, and this all comes from the TV, the idiot box, as some people call it. And one of the greatest things we could ever do is turn off that TV and start to research our news and start to not just follow what other people say on the social media and actually look into what we think instead of following this sheep mentality, this herd-like mentality of this is just what is. When so many times over and over and over again, we see that things come to light and what we've been told isn't necessarily true. So we really need to, in this day and age, start to live our own truth and not just to take what gets passed through the media as fact. So however we do that is up to you. And that's the beauty of it. We all get to have a choice in what we believe and what we think. And that's what makes life so amazing, that we are all so different. We're not all the same. We all look different. We all think different. We all create different things. That's the beauty. We are all so unique and different. And our own opinions are what makes this such a wonderful place to live, despite everything that goes on. We're not ignoring that fact. We know that that's true. What we're talking about is another side of the coin, where it's not all doom and gloom. There's something awesome on the other side. For every bit of information you hear on this side, there's something powerful and thought-provoking and amazing on this side. So yeah, talking out on social media about anything that you believe in is not something I do. You don't use the platforms that suppress the information to talk about what you want and hope to convince people. It's people don't respect people online. We know this. Talking face to face is how I like to do it. I like to see people's eyes and see the reaction. And you throw something out there and you test the water, and if they're not into it, you go around, we give out a 10% and see what bites and have a human conversation. On the internet, as we found, people say whatever they want and they say awful things and they just go poof, poof, and they've never met these people. They forget that there's a human on the other side of the screen. And to go out there and share something that you believe in, whether it's artwork or it's political, it doesn't matter. You've got to be aware that people will either be championing you or they'll try and destroy you and not care about your feelings and your artwork or your political views. And this is brutal, and the system needs to change. Be aware of what you think and what you feel you need to share and speak about. Find the people that you share your beliefs and have those conversations in a safe space. But then also look outside of the box and don't always be in the bubble. I've practiced this so much and it's been the greatest thing to, my beliefs are pretty out there. But I love, most of my friends share the opposite beliefs to me. And I love this about my friends. I have these friends for this reason as well, and that's probably why I'm a good friend to them, is that it makes life interesting. We're not all saying the same stuff and believing the same stuff. I love my atheist friends who, anything talking about spiritual, they shut down, and it's like, right, this is where we have a great conversation. Try and surround yourself with people who don't just believe in the same stuff. and don't try and convince them otherwise. That's not what the relationship's for. Just fill your head with knowledge from other people's opinions, so you get to learn the language, so you can communicate better with different types of people. It's such a skill. Read material you wouldn't normally read about. Stretch your imagination. Look at both sides of the coin all of the time. Don't just read the same papers over and over and over again, or watch the same podcasts, or listen, continuously think outside the box and see where you can grasp as much of what's out there as possible to form your own opinion before blabbing it all out there like we do. So the system as we know it, as we've been brought up through school and all the rest of it, is to keep us busy, to keep us on the train, to keep us get the job, pay the bills, pay the mortgage, go to uni, do all the stuff. It's constant, and it goes, and then life ends. And alongside that, we've got the TV and the newspapers that tell us what's happening all around the world. It's basically fear and scarcity and everything else condensed into a small bandwidth that we just have to deal with. So if you're finding yourself fearful and in the doom and gloom and struggling in life, then yeah, I don't blame you. Rightly so. Humans have been through an awful lot in the last few years and for the last millennia. It's pretty brutal, and it's everything that you see and more. And we only see the tip of the iceberg if you're following the mainstream media, and it's just a bit much, isn't it? It's just a bit much. So why am I smiling? Let's get to it. I'm smiling because I've been in that spiral of doom, and I've lived it, and I've breathed it, and I've learned a lot from it. And what it did for me is it helped me realize that I'm here, I got one life, and I'm not going to spend my time, my energy, my essence fighting something because of people's crappy decisions or destructive decisions. I'm going to be aware of it. I'm not going to be ignorant of it, but I'm going to not let the buggers drag me down. And from that, I'm going to create something else, something positive that gives back to the charities that help the destruction of all of that that's been caused. And I'm going to build something, I'm going to do something, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to share positivity, I'm going to help inspire others and uplift others, even if it's just a smile when you walk down the street and someone goes, even just that is everything. And this is the whole. The light and the dark, the yin, the yang, everything. It's not just the doom and gloom. There is the other side. This whole other side that if you are just in this underneath, then you don't think about the top half. You don't think about the other side because you can't, because your vibration is low and it's too much pressure to be happy or even chase happiness or seek happiness. So let's unpack it a little bit more. So why am I smiling? Because on the other side of the coin that you don't see necessarily on the news, in the papers, on the social media, is the amazing things that are happening around the world on an individual level, on a collective level, on a local, national, global level, through science, through education, people meditating in schools and in prisons. All of the stuff that's coming to the surface at the moment that's really uncomfortable and has been hellish for millions of people and people suffering all around the world. We're in this time where stuff's coming to the surface so we can finally have a look at it and go, oh, this has been happening. This isn't how we want to be living. And we're in this birthing process of coming into a new earth, a new life, a new way of being. A new shift is happening, whether it's politically, scientifically, environmentally. Things are changing for the better, and it's unbelievable when you start looking at positive news and reading positive material, and you look at the new breakthroughs, and you start to see that there is two sides of the coin, and the TV and the news and all the rest of it is showing you one, predominantly 100% this, 80%, whatever, not, you know, not the rest of it. So what we've got to really start doing is honoring this side, because this side is part of this, and this side is the stuff that's going to get you through the day, keep a smile on your face, and make you want to go to sleep at night with a smile. So don't let fear consume you. Even if you're into all that stuff and you're pushing out the truth, don't let it consume your life. Still live life. Still seek positive material through books, through lectures, through TV, and smile and enjoy smiling. Life is for living, and life is not to sweep up the crap of other people's mistakes and atrocities. It's about living life and creating and evolving and making it a better place. Do not let fear consume you. Don't let it affect your quality of life. You know, sat there on the internet all the time, looking at stuff, talking about it, gossiping about it, just talking. Do something. Go out there in nature, breathe, keep the body hydrated, keep eating the good foods and not eating the chemicals and all the stuff that people are selling that's just full of crap. Eat the good stuff, drink the good stuff, breathe the good stuff wherever possible. If you are living in fear and you are soaking up the gloom and doom, then you are helping those things become a reality on deeper levels, which we'll say for another video. But ultimately, it ain't helping you. It's keeping you sick, it's keeping you unwell, it's keeping you fearful, fragile, and paranoid. Do not let the narrative of the doom and gloom change your essence, your being. You're stronger than that. You're better than that. So do all you can to spread the word, get the word out, and make a change. But you've got to live your life. You've got to live your life. And you've got one. You've got one life, so live it. Do a bit of this. So in closing, don't let the buggers drag you down. Do what you got to do. Live life. Remember there's both sides of the coin. And take the middle path. Take the middle way. Dip your toes in both sides. Don't be ignorant. Create something good. Generate some goodness. I don't know, I've said too much. Leave your comments down below. Let's have a conversation. And keep smiling. Stay positive. Stay optimistic. Stay focused. Stay happy. Big love. Peace.